People ask, when is the day of judgment? The moon when the eyes are dazzled, when the sun and the moon are brought together on that day, when the sun and the moon are brought together on that day. A person will ask where to escape. No, there is no place to escape and take shelter on that day. The place to reach and rest on that day is only the presence of your Lord. Doomsday is that end that everyone awaits with curiosity and fear. Days for this video: 37 days of intensive scientific research, writing of the text, voiceover, and video editing were done. Ad-free. We are a non-profit channel, a volunteer team working for the purpose of broadcasting the right. To support all these food and spread the right, you can also subscribe to our channel and contribute to our efforts. You can be a partner. Even though we do not know the exact year of the doomsday, we know that it is approaching. How do we know that it is approaching? Because there are many hadiths related to this. Our prophet says that some events will happen before the doomsday. But what are these events? You will be surprised when you hear them. Let's talk about the signs that show that the doomsday is approaching. The sky is splitting, the stars are falling, the seas are falling. When the contents of the graves where they join each other are taken out, human beings will realize one by one what they did and sent, and what they could not do and left behind. Are you afraid of the apocalypse? Well, when will the apocalypse come? Now think about the items to be listed one by one. These show how close we are to the apocalypse. Before the apocalypse comes, small signs will appear. These signs depend on the will of the human being. If events such as violation of religious orders or deterioration of morality are events that will be close to the end of the world, they will happen outside of human will, and they are called big signs. First, we will talk about some of the small signs, and then in the big signs, the first sign is actually the birth of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to the world. Our prophet. He is the last prophet sent to warn people and give them the good news of heaven. The sending of the last prophet is interpreted as the beginning of the minor signs of doomsday in many sources. Another sign is that the importance of the Quran will be forgotten by people. What do you think? Do you think there is a need to discuss whether this is the most important issue for many of us? If we ask ourselves when was the last time we read the Quran, we will understand whether we have forgotten its importance or not. It is enough to look around us in our schools or workplaces to understand the rates of prayers that will not be performed. The number of people will gradually decrease. Here's another strong clue that the apocalypse is approaching. Mosques will be decorated, but worship will not be given importance. The number of people who believe in God and the principles of faith will decrease. Trust will not be valued. Interest will be spread. Honesty in trade will disappear. Discord, gossip, and lying will increase. If you think about it, no one trusts even the person closest to them. Isn't it true that major sins such as adultery and drinking will increase? Wines will be released under various names. Some of them will be considered halal. Obscenity and obscenity will spread. Indecency will increase. Men will be satisfied with men and women will be satisfied with women. Stinginess and greed will increase. Kinship ties will be cut. Don't we feel this sign most during our religious holidays? What do you think? The elders will not have mercy on the younger ones. The younger ones will not respect the elders. Divorces and illegitimate children will increase. Jihad and guidance activities will be abandoned. Only non-religious sciences will be learned. Imagine, since our childhood, we only learn one definition each in religion classes and go to mosques and Quran courses in the summers. Our religious knowledge consists of these. Nature. The balance will be disrupted. Disasters such as floods, earthquakes, and fires will increase throughout the world. Mines will disappear. Murders will increase. High-rise buildings will be built. Fate and the afterlife will be denied. Have you noticed? Almost all of the signs of the apocalypse have come true. Doesn't the realization of these signs show that humanity has entered the end times, that is, the last era? Let's talk about the great signs indicating the apocalypse. Dabbetul Arz, and when the hour of judgment approaches, we bring out a dab from the ground for them. It tells them that people do not believe in our verses with certain knowledge. For the dab type of earth, about which there is not much information, it is said in the Holy Quran that it will come out of the ground and separate the unbelievers from the believers. It is a creature that is reported to appear close to the rupture and is one of the great signs of the apocalypse. There are many different interpretations about what this will be like, but the important thing is that it is a great sign and the believers can be saved from this danger with the permission of Allah. Another great sign of the apocalypse is that they cause great harm and cause mischief on the earth. They said, O Dhul-Qarnayn, the tribes named Gog and Magog are making mischief on the earth. Shall we give you a tax in return for making an obstacle between them and us? In our great book, the Quran, What Tul-Karnain did, it is said that the corrupt tribes named Gog and Magog, who could not attack people thanks to this set, will come out again near the apocalypse and attack humanity. Finally, when the way is open for Gog and Magog, they will flock from every hill. The real promise is that the apocalypse is approaching, and you will see that the eyes of the unbelievers will open and they will freeze. Alas, we were unaware of this. They even say that we are cruel people. According to some views, these communities are the Manchurians and Mongols who invaded the Islamic countries, destroyed all the libraries, closed the golden age of the Muslims, and threw them into the dark age. In a period close to the apocalypse, there will be communities that will cause corruption and drown the world in terror, no less than those tribes. Of course, God knows best. In the narrations, the emergence of the Antichrist is shown as one of the most terrible events in the world. The Antichrist is described in the hadiths as a liar, a cheat, an evil person who knowingly mixes good and evil with right and wrong and hides his true face by gilding something. The number of Antichrists is many. Every century has Antichrists, 30 of them from a hadith. We learn that the Antichrists of the end times have a special place among them. One of them is the great Antichrist, and the other is the Antichrist of Islam, Sufyan. According to the narration, Sufyan comes from among the Muslims and tries to destroy the eternal lives of people by hypocritically spreading atheism and haram things and legitimizing them. In order to gain reputation among Muslims, he deceives some clergy and makes them his supporters. In fact, he continues his reign based on denial, immorality, waste, and lies by deceiving people. But not everyone recognizes the Antichrist and the Sufyan. Not everyone knows that they are the Antichrist. They can only be known with a great consciousness of faith and the insight of faith resulting from this consciousness. Mahdi after the Antichrist, Mahdi, who is from the lineage of all al-Bayt, will appear. After killing the Antichrist, he will spread the religion of Islam in a short time and make it dominant on earth. He will eliminate all evil and establish justice. Mahdi is described as the almighty person who is given the good news that he will come in the end times, and who is shown the right path by Allah and is directed to the truth. He guides people, especially Muslims, to the right path and prevents oppression and injustice. He establishes justice in a world where he passes. He saves those who are overwhelmed by disbelief, those whose faith is in doubt and hesitation, from this darkness. His coming is a sign of the apocalypse. He is a great person who strengthens the faith of the believers and destroys the Antichrist, which is a movement of disbelief. The descent of Jesus Christ from the sky is another great apocalypse. The sign of Jesus Christ's descent to earth is one of the signs of the doomsday. Many of us know the story of Jesus Christ, one of the 4 great prophets. As a work of God's power, he was born from the Virgin Mary without a father. When he turned 30, he was given prophethood. 3 years later, God, the person the Jews crucify, is their own man, whom they liken to the prophet Jesus. There are hadiths stating that the prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, will descend to the earth in the end times and implement the rules of Islam. After the emergence of the Mahdi, the prophet Jesus will descend from the sky as a fair referee and ruler. He will break the cross and kill the pig. He will impose taxes and provide wealth. He will pray behind Mahdi and help him. According to one narration, God will destroy the tribes of Gog and Magog, who will drown the earth in mischief, with the prayer of the prophet Jesus. According to another narration, he will unite with the Mahdi and destroy the decay system. In fact, Duhan is one of the great signs of the apocalypse. It means smoke. There is a surah with this name in the Holy Quran. According to this, when the apocalypse approaches, a smoke will descend from the sky to the earth. It will surround the whole world, and this will continue for 40 days. It will become extremely hot. The believers will be slightly affected by this smoke, as if they had caught a cold, and the unbelievers and hypocrites will be slightly affected by this smoke. It will shake violently, and it will almost make you drunk. The sun rising from the west is one of the biggest signs of the apocalypse. Think about it. The celestial bodies have been continuing their course in a very delicate and sensitive order since the day the universe was created. As a matter of fact, in the 5th verse of the Surah Rahman, the sun and the moon move according to a calculation. The disruption of this order is not scary enough. When Allah Almighty, the creator and owner of the universe, puts an end to the worldly life of humanity, he disrupts this delicate order that he created and established within his own will and calculation.